Nick and I don't, I mean, we both played all kinds of music. We're not really, like traditional hard rock or metal players. And when it's just me and him just jamming, it is more groove-based music, obviously. We're a rhythm section. But we're good at it together, and we have fun doing it, and I think you can hear that in some sections of Gold and Gray.
Still feel like it's an impressive thing to note that they had not played music with one another. They did not know one another before they joined this band. It seems to me like those two grew up in the same household. They're so fraternal in their relationship to one another. It's just constant one-upsmanship, and it drives them in this band in such an awesome way. Sometimes it's insane to watch because these guys are insane.
Seb has such an aggressive and precise attack to his playing, and Nick is just this superhuman musician who has such a unique style in the things that he writes. That's to me, this really impressive balance of logical musicianship, where it's this chord makes sense after this chord, and something that's very much Nick and his own unique style and approach.
My role is to try to give John and Gina and Seb things that they can do their thing over. And I usually do that from the keyboard or the guitar. Being in Baroness has taught me a lot about guitar in general. Just watching Pete, watching John, and now watching Gina. What they do when they pick up the instrument, what comes out of them when they're working on ideas. And that taught me a lot about their style and what things work for them, So practicing a lot of guitar helped me get inside more of what they're doing, So I really wanted to make a point of trying to bring something to the guitar on this record.
Nick's really good at bringing ideas to the table because he has a really clear vision or a clear intention behind the things that he's writing. So, for example, it'll be here's a bass line, here's a groove, I want the melody to do this exact thing, and I've recorded a minute and a half of it, and then it's kind of okay, go, But I remember the idea for Already Gone was this really specific rhythm, the guitar rhythm, and a really specific beat that Seb ended up turning into that more linear beat that he does over the song. But that was definitely one I remember listening to and just being how are we gonna do this? It wasn't making sense to me until we got to the studio and just spent time getting inside of it, and then it all kind of clicked and just came together in the live room.
So Gina and I had, at this point, we were operating on a weird new level for us. We weren't trying to play tight things that were discernible. It was really loose. There was a lot of reverb. I remember there was just a lot of reverb, and Gina had discovered at this point, or had committed to, I think, using this certain effect in every song, this thing called a Digitech whammy. And she had figured out this place where you could put the pedal so that it would push your note somewhere that wasn't pleasant by itself, but had a really cool texture and a really cool vibe. And then I'm just sort of playing, I guess, kind of whacked out reverb, fuzz, country music, and some weird changes in it. We just stayed up one night writing that song, and nobody, I think we barely had an idea of what each part of the song could be. I don't know that we had a clear sense of what the verse was or what the chorus was or how we would tie everything together. But eventually we liked it enough, and it follows a pretty strange format for us. It's just a verse and then a chorus and then a verse and then a chorus. and that's it. And it's not really about anything other than the groove and the bass line, and then some of the sounds that Gina and I make with our guitars. And then we had to find a hook for it, and to write a simple song like that doesn't have the bells and whistles that make it just kind of like awesome anyway. It's just like very compelling rhythm section.
I really wanted to figure out how to have a different role in this record than I did on the last record. Because the feedback I got from the last one was that like I sound like a jazz guy playing rock. And I probably still sound like that on this. Maybe even more so, I don't know. But I wanted to like go more down the road of writing an actual bass line as opposed to just like connecting things melodically through like harmony and stuff, like staying in one place and sticking to riffs more. This is my version of that, whatever that means. Whether or not it sounds like that, that's what I tried to do. I recorded every bass note without knowing the melody to anything, which is really weird for me, Like, because I think like a bass player's role is like really dependent on how he supports the melody, or how that person supports the melody rather. And to not have the melody, it's like you have it's a different mentality, Maybe that's why I played so many notes on this record, because I was just shredding and because I didn't have a melody to care about. But yeah, like at the end, again, kind of like a lot of this happened in Purple. It's like songs that didn't make any sense to us, the lyrics and the melody and the vocals, centered everything. Really centered the record, centered the songs in among themselves, and centered the album, how it's going to lay out in general.
I'm Already Gone, second track on the record. I think that's one of my favorite songs. What kind of music is it? I don't know. Maybe it's hip hop, maybe it's pop, who knows? I don't know what kind of music it is. 60s music. Doesn't matter. Somebody tell me what kind of music that is.
Sexy linear grooves.
Already Gone. God, I just remember us like super late at night, like in the main tracking room at Dave's, like with all the lights off, like disco ball on, like a couple weird red vibey lights like around Seb, and just like hashing it the hell out and trying to like just put everyone's brains together.
Second song is I'm Already Gone. That song is only marked by late night in Fredonia, being scared shitless, thinking there was an intruder outside while we had been jamming on this one goddamn song for 2 days straight, That was like our breaking point in session 2, where we were all like literally walking around the house with weapons and like outside with flashlights and like yelling into the woods just because we thought somebody was out there,